Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, enemies and comrades, I hope you can hear me. This is Kenya Revolutionary. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing well. I hope you do. I hope you do. It's Furahi Day. Furahi Day. Friday. It's evening in Kenya, okay? And afternoon somewhere in Europe. It's probably morning in Asia, or whatever the case is. Wherever you're watching this from, please, karibu sana. This is Kenya Revolutionary. Karibu, karibu, karibu for another session. I'm just going to explore. I don't know how long I'll stay here. Probably 1 hour, 2 hours. I don't know. Less. Just depends, okay? But I just wanted to explore something, okay? I know this sounds conspiratorial. Might not agree with me. You might agree with me or not. But that's fine. That's fine. That's why we're here. We're going to discuss what's happening. Now, the State House in Kenya, Ruto's administration, is on panic mode, okay? They are well aware of the upcoming 21st November nationwide protest, something that is suspected to be close to June 25th. What happened June 25th? That's the biggest fear. Remember June 25th? Yes, the great day that the Kenyans decided to occupy parliament, where they basically rendered their legislative body useless, okay? They expressed their power directly in this case, because they felt like the legislators let them down because of the finance bill that was passed that a lot of people, majority of the Kenyans, did not approve. But so, since then, Ruto has played his, circus, has played around and maneuvered and just brought back the finance bill in another way. And the courts did not help the situation. As we know, the courts are compromised by the very executive branch, which is headed by Ruto. So Kenyans have been watching all these shenanigans going on and on since June 25th, with Ruto clamping down on the Gen Zs. Anyone who was influential, it was either compromised, as we have seen Hanifa, as we have seen Kasmuel, as we have seen all these guys, okay? They've been compromised, either joining the political parties, which is part of the political elites. And the abductions that we've seen. Karibu sana Shi Mariam. Nice seeing you, nice seeing. Leo tumeanza mapema kidogo. Because unajua Friday, you never know. Vile mambo itaenda, okay? But thank you so much for joining me. Like the video. By the way, guys, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, this is your first time, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Hit the subscribe button, like, share, comment, and all. Share with your friends all the great stuff that you know about it, right? Studio. Bye. Shi Mariam anasema Zakayo amesema that church said jana is a lie. Tutacheza hiyo Zakayo, tutacheza vile Zakayo alisema. DJ Moda, I also see you here. Hey, leo mmeanza mapema kweli, mmeingia mapema. I'm doing good, thank you. I hope you're doing good too. Friday ni ile mnasema ni furahi day ama kama kawa. Yes, kama kahawa. Yes, so the reason why I mentioned this is because it is very, very interesting. The head of the CIA visited Kenya twice. First in January, okay? Then he did so again in October 29th, if I'm not wrong, 29th or 30th, or whatever the case is, okay? DJ Modana Sema, I'm traveling to Kepanuse. Is that how you say it? Kepanuse? Aya, safari njema basi, safari njema. Yes. So, since June 25th, things have been brewing up. Ruto has been going on with his unrelenting, unconstitutional ways of doing things. Okay, whether it's the finance bill, I mean, that's a funny judgment by the Supreme Court. Was it not Supreme Court? High Court. Okay, and more. It's been just one after the other. Things, things are just, Adani deals, Shah, Schiff, all this nonsense that's been going on. We've just been treated to wave after wave of unconstitutional bills that are being passed and are being forced down the throat of Kenyans. And things have been boiling up. So, the American ambassador to the US, now the ex, who was Meg Whitman, was running around the country, visiting every different kind of ministries, basically advocating for what this administration is, perpetuating. And most Kenyans were not happy with this, okay? But I think she got the message, because remember, the Kenyans started, hashtag Meg Whitman should be recalled, all that stuff. People didn't like what she was doing. And she first gave a statement out that she only reports to the President of the United States, which is true. But to me, as I said in my previous video, that was a way of her showing defiance to everyone who did not like her, who wanted her out. But again, we were surprised a few days after that, basically a week or 4 or 5, less than a week after that, she announced her resignation. And now she's sawa Mariam, takuona baadaye kasali. Okay, thank you so much. So after that, she put her resignation in, and she's heading back to California. Probably that's where she resides. Okay, she's Californian. So, but the question people are asking is, why did she actually leave early? Because realistically, even if there's a new administration that's coming in January 30th, if I'm not January 21st, that is when Donald Trump and his new administration will coming in officially. The ambassadors usually stay a little bit longer. Maybe they stay till January when Donald Trump's administration comes in with their group and their appointments and their ambassadors and stuff. Okay, it usually takes time for the ambassadors to leave their post. Okay, it's not just like they leave immediately. All right, so yes, I'll bring that video to Mariam Yababa. Yeah. So the question is, why did Meg Whitman leave early? She resigned earlier than expected. She still had a few months before she would finish her tenure. I mean, she would have just angekaa tu amalize hizo miezi miwili or tatu ambao amebaki, but she was like, no, I'm out. This is too much. I'm out. And I mentioned before that this lady has always melted when she faced adversity. The last time that we had on that very day, June 25th, when there was a maandamano, mass protest in Kenya, she was, people were tracking her flight, and she was out of Kenya. She was not in Kenya. She got into a private plane and left with a good reason, because remember, there was an American ambassador who lost his life in Benghazi in 2012, where the chaos was happening, and you know the story. Go look at it, look it up. And usually when the country is going through stuff like this, when the country is going through chaos like this, it's usually very when a certain country is there's unrest in a certain country where chaos, wananchi wamesema wamekasirika, it's usually not safe for the ambassadors, and the first thing they do is bolt out of the country. Of course they'll be issued with advisory for all Americans or whatever the case is from Washington, based on the intelligence they get on the ground, and they are told, hey, listen, you got to get out of the country because it's not safe. And what's her name? Meg being an ambassador, not only an ambassador, but a billionaire. Her life means a lot to her because she has a lot to live for, because she has a lot of businesses and she's a billionaire. She worries about her business. So again, what made her leave early? And immediately she left, like I said yesterday, there are signs that something is up in the air, up in the smoke. Not up in smoke, but I mean, something is brewing. Something is cooking. Remember, the very last time that this ambassador met with Soipan, who is a CS of the Ministry of Defense, okay? It was the same day that the head of the CIA came and met Ruto. So when the CIA came for the second time, the head of the CIA came and met Ruto, the president of the Republic of Kenya, he probably told him two things. Okay, when these heads of this organization come and tell you, they either come tell you, they give you some intel about your country as it relates to another country or safety or whatever the case is, or they come in to wanting assurance, okay, for some operation that they want to, for their interest within the country. So they tell you, hey, listen, like people were saying the US were trying to open 2 more US bases in Lodwar, whatever the case is. So basically, it's either they were coming in to check up with Ruto and say, hey, listen, ile project yetu ni aje? Are we still going to build those 2, whatever, okay? Or he was here telling Ruto, hey, listen, Ruto, we are getting news that, things are not sitting well. You might be facing certain, there's trouble in your country. So can you fix it? It's either always a warning or it's you need to do this. Stick to the script. Basically, that's what the head of, if you see a head of CIA come or to meet a president of a country, especially like Kenya, it's either to warn them against some intel that they got that maybe the country might not be safe, or they want some assurances. They want that to make sure that their interest is in safe hands and that the president should guarantee them. Okay, so those are the two possibilities that happen. Now, this is the second time, mind you, mark you, I told you, this is the second time the CIA head came and met Ruto. Right after that, especially not even right after that, few days before that, there was rumors that Ruto was trying to join BRICS. Let's get some coffee. Ruto was trying to join BRICS. Now, anyone who has any kind of sketchy knowledge about geopolitics will understand that BRICS and the West don't get along. Okay? Remember, Ruto, there was a meeting, the last meeting, BRICS meeting that happened in South Africa. Ruto was supposed to go there. And Meg Whitman actually was the one who told Ruto, hey, listen, this is not a good idea. And Ruto had to send, I think, Alfred Mutua. Okay? So what I'm trying to say is this. Something must be happening between Ruto and the West. CIA versus Ruto, or Ruto doesn't want to listen to what the CIA is saying. Something. It's either that. Okay? So, and I told you, if you go read that book, again, The Confession of a Economic Hitman by John Perkins, the former CIA guy who worked for the IMF and World Bank, explains that usually if a president of a certain country does not meet their demands, they usually go pay him a visit and give him some warning and tell them, hey, listen, this is what you have to do, A, B, C, D. Failure to do that, they either sponsor a coup d'etat by popular revolution, as they did with Mossadegh in 1953 in Iran, where they sponsored the opposition and took out the Mossadegh, okay, with the help of the CIA and the British intelligence, okay, MI6. So this is something common. So basically, that's why you saw Ruto was talking about the Ford Foundation. Ford Foundation was possibly financing the Mandaman. It's a possibility. I won't take that out of the realm of possibilities. Okay, that's a very, very possible way. Because again, if you go read that book, there are so many organizations. These organizations that you see, NGOs that you see, international NGOs that work within the country, those are used to funnel money from the CIA to the country of interest to fund projects or fund pro-American ideas or fund a possible popular revolution or fund a coup d'etat. Okay, and they use that USAID is one of them. He mentioned in that book. Go read that book, please. It's a very nice book. It will open your eyes. So possibly this is a possibility that's happening. Now let's get to the point. Before we get to we dig deep into that, go deep into that rabbit hole. Let's just look at the events that have been surrounding Ruto administration. This guy has been out fires, and the Catholics coming out, the head of the Catholic Church coming out and speaking about this kind of ni kama walieka moto katika kila kitu, because every sector of this country is complaining about this administration. The doctors are striking, the students are striking, are not happy with him. The civil servants are not happy with him. The bishop, the church is not happy with him. I mean, who is left? The military and the police, and they're probably not happy with him, okay? So what do you expect? Okay? So this is why I'm telling you something is brewing up, and maybe this August 21st might be the day that we see something really, really huge happening. Now, let's get to the news. Let me play the clip so we can contextualize what we're talking about here, because it seems like everything is brewing up. And this August 21st is the day that might be the D-Day, okay? All right? And not to top it off, I mean, he's now at odds with his now former deputy president, because, you saw the process in which they took him out, and now they have a constitutionally nominated deputy president in the person of Kindiki, whatever his first name. But let's get to the news now. To get news so that we can see what's happening right now, because the situation in Kenya, yes, like those churches, the head of the churches said, it's the calm before the storm. The silent is very loud, and it might spell trouble for Ruto. So he shouldn't stay comfortable. No. Ruto ajipange, because I'm telling you. And again, they are planning on addressing the nation. Ruto is planning. He was planning to go to the legislative body and aongee na watu huko on that very 21st, which is Thursday. And some people are saying, okay, that would be perfect, because that's when we shall go to Ninio and remove them the same day. So we'll see what happens. But let's get to the news. Raila Odinga was out, and he had his words. A lot of people are talking about Raila was being kind of ni kama alikuwa na divert attention from what is happening, because Raila was out and he was talking about the counties, National Assembly and the Senate are not agreeing on the money that should be allocated to the counties. And people are asking themselves, why are you talking about this? The talk right now is about Ruto's lies and what the Catholics said, and the addressing of what the problems that we are facing, not the easy story kupatiana pesa huko kwa county. So why are you coming out and speaking now, Raila Odinga? Again, it's a diversionary tactic to move the discussion away from what people are talking about. Let's listen to what Raila Odinga said. Then you'll make up your mind. All right? Huyo mzee hajalipwa, so he's coming out too. But let's get to the point. Let's get to the Ninio. Let's get to the video. Then I'll come back. And Ninio, please take your time and like the video, share, comment, and all the good stuff. All right, let's listen to the video. Then we'll come in. This was from Raila Odinga today when he spoke about this National Assembly not seeing eye to eye with the Senate on the money that should be allocated to the Ninio, and he didn't address what's the elephant in the room. But let's go.
Well, ladies and gentlemen of the press, today we want to talk about the Division of Revenue Amendment Bill. And we are saying that MPs plotting power grab in the Division of Revenue Amendment Bill. A major standoff is currently underway in the country, pitting our two houses of parliament, the National Assembly and the Senate, against each other. On the surface, this standoff is about the Division of Revenue Amendment Bill 2024. The hidden reality, however, is that this standoff is about a power grab and an assault on the Constitution that members of the National Assembly want to execute, and which will amount to a cruel betrayal of the people and an overhaul of our structure of governance. This development has been brewing for some time since the coming of the National Government Constituency Development Fund and the National Government Affirmative Action Fund, which are in the hands of members of the National Assembly. These funds give MPs the power to conceive, implement projects, and oversight them at the same time. Having managed to entrench this anomaly, members of the National Assembly are now attempting to determine the amount of money counties get, despite the clear constitutional provisions on the revenue sharing. The members of the National Assembly are also scheming to dip their fingers into more executive projects like road maintenance levy fund at the national constituency level, in addition to the National Government Constituency Development Fund. And the Constitution assigns 3 roles to members of Parliament, and this is universal. 1, representation; 2, legislation; and 3, oversight. I repeat, representation, legislation, and oversight, period. Execution of programs has never been and can never be the job of members of Parliament without creating a serious accountability crisis in our governance system to the detriment of us all. Parliament makes laws and ensures that the laws are implemented and followed. It is against this backdrop that I find the ongoing standoff between our 2 houses of Parliament over division of revenue extremely scary, unhelpful, and unnecessary. The Constitution we promulgated in 2010 guides the way the government and our country works. It divides the government into 3 parts, each with the power to keep the other parts under control. It further creates 2 levels of government: the national government and 47 county governments. The 3 parts you know: the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. The powers in Article 6, subsection 2 of the Constitution, which states, and I quote, "The governments at the national and county levels are distinct and interdependent, and shall conduct their mutual relations on the basis of consultation and cooperation," unquote. Now, because MPs want to have their way with the abrogation of the Constitution and getting their pound of the flesh with regard to NGCDF, the Senate and the National Assembly are unable to agree on something the law is so clear about: sharing of the revenue between the national.
I want to make something really clear, a very quick point here. I want you to notice something. Raila came out to give a press conference. Remember, this guy hasn't been talking for the past, I don't know what. The only thing he has been talking about is his AU candidacy, okay? His AU campaign manifesto and all that crap, okay? Notice this. When Ruto's government came under attack from the Catholic Church, a very strong force, which is the clergy, the members of the clergy, came out and spoke against this administration, accusing them of lying and the taxes and the abductions and all that. We all heard about what they talked about yesterday, okay? And this really rattled the administration, Ruto's administration, to the core. And we saw how rapid they came out to try to counter what was being said by the clergymen. Okay, which means they needed something to counter what the clergymen said. So who else is better to turn to than Raila Odinga? Every time they face a challenge and they need a PR stunt to counter the attack they're facing when they're under siege, and they know that no one will buy what we're saying, or that's I don't know, Zeru Zeru, what's his name? I'll play his clip. I don't know his name. The Bitok and also Maura. The public has no confidence in what they have to say. So they usually bring Raila Odinga. Remember, when the Gen Zs were out there protesting against the finance bill, who did Ruto turn to come rescue him? It was Raila Odinga. They hauled him from his dungeon somewhere in Karen and asked him to join in the signing of that amendment bill, IBC amendment bill, along with Kalonzo Musyoka. Remember that? So now you have the clergymen come out and attack this administration, which really robs this administration of the little credibility they had. So they went into a panic mode, and every statement that they gave at night was not holding any water. So Ruto had to place the call to Raila again for him to get up early in the morning, stand up somewhere here, call a press conference, and talk about something totally different from what the clergymen were addressing. So here is Raila Odinga talking to us, talking to the nation, diverting attention from the issues that were raised by the clergyman. He's here talking about the little difference between the members of parliament and the Senate as it relates to the division or the apportioning of the national finances to the counties. Okay, which was not the main issue here. But Raila is coming out because they're using him as the head chief state house communication guy, propaganda machinist, because they don't have anyone. They still believe that Raila Odinga has a huge sway in the country, so he can change the perception. But I'm sorry, this will not work. But I want you to notice, that is the question that people should ask themselves. Why did Raila, of all these days, his priority should be the AUC, AU. Why is he coming out and not addressing what the clergymen were talking about, which is the abductions, which is the high taxes that Mbadi wants to introduce, the finance bill that has been brought back again, the killings, the compensation of the Gen Zs that were shot during the protest? Why is Raila not talking about? When he comes out, he wants to tell us about the Nino devolution. Why? It's a diversionary tactic used by Ruto, pays Raila Odinga to go out and talk about this so we can stop focusing on what the clergymen were talking about. The clergymen were right, and let's kill this whole idea that the church should not speak up. I know there are people who are saying, "Oh, where the church went? Why didn't they speak up about this, and that?" But they said something that needed to be said, and to me, I think it's pretty telling if the clergymen come out and speak about what's wrong with this country. They have a sense that the tension are rising. And this government does not see it, or they see it, but they ignore it and they don't care. Because in their minds, they think if things go worse, we'll ask the police to go to the streets and shoot everyone down. That's their thinking. We are safe. But they want to use this old man, Raila Odinga, And don't get me wrong, Raila is not innocent in this. He's complicit in this crime by Ruto because he's working for them. This is what he does. Ruto called him and told him, hey, Mzee, can you go out there and talk about devolution? Because you can see now, Raila is placing the blame on the MPs and the governors. This is a devolution problem. It's not that the government, it's not that Ruto is the problem. It's not Ruto that is messing up the country. This is a problem between the MPs and the senators and the governors. Uko mashinani. Those are the corrupt people, not Ruto. You see what I'm saying? He's diverting the attention from the national government that's headed by Ruto and try to place the blame with the members of parliament and the governors and the Senate, because he knows majority of Kenyans abhor these members of parliament and Senate, the legislative body in general, plus the governors who have been exposed as being corrupt. So Raila is doing his job to divert attention from Ruto and his administration and try to put that on the MPs. And yes, the MPs and senators and governors are also corrupt. But the big fish here is Ruto. And the clergymen were putting that blame squarely on Ruto. That's why they mention how Ruto usurped power from the judiciary and from the legislative body. But Raila wants to make it a problem about devolution because it's a diversionary tactic that he's using. See what I'm saying? That's why I'm saying Raila Odinga is just as culpable in this whole thing. He's not innocent by no means. Asijifanye. Okay? But anyway, while we speak about Raila, apparently there are some people in Githurai, the members of the public in Githurai said we are not going to wait till on 21st. Apparently they're out in the streets already. Wako inje already. I don't know if you've seen the clip, but they are already. Kuna watu wameanza maandamano already. They're not waiting till Thursday next week. That's too much for them. Yeah, it is. This was in Githurai. So you see, there are some places watu wameanza. People have started yet, have already started. And this is what I was talking about. We are at the cusp of a nationwide protest that may result into a popular revolution. Baba nadhani sahi bado wako popular. Ajue tusharevuka. Hata akiitana maandamano hakuna mtu ataenda. Osala is just saying, okay, okay, sikujua. Nilikuwa nafikiri enda msikitini. So you see what I'm saying? Hii kitu ishaanza. People have grown, they've been holding it in for a while now. And it's been happening. It's been brewing up. It's been cooking up. while Ruto anaendelea mambo yake, wakina Mbadi wanafikiri ni mzaha. They don't understand how grave these issues are. Hawaelewi, and they probably don't care. Hawajali. Wanaendesha magari huko. You saw the ninio, the issue of inaitwaje, the issue of wale wananinio ambao the one that was stuck in Germany. Yani vitu zinaendelea. Hey. And this ties in with what I'm saying about Meg Whitman. Meg Whitman probably got intel that Kenya is about to ban. Ndio maana akasema mimi sitangoja hizi miezi 3 kabla nimalize my tenure. Wacha niishie saa hizi. What am I doing here? They hate me and things about to blow up. Why should I sit here? Kwa nini? Nikae hapa nikidu? Sasa akasema acha mimi niishie. Right here. Let's go to Miguna's page. Let's read what Mure. Before we go to the video, let's read it here. If only the Zakayo knows that the anger that we have is a bomb taking waiting to explode around in the State House. People might go to State House this time. Zakayo hajui. I think he knows, but he doesn't care. Yeye anafikiri he'll safe. Here's Miguna. Miguna hapa anasema. I think you can see the screen. Can you see the screen? I'm giving you a minute to see. Look at let me read what Raila was saying. The quote by Raila is saying is I feel very frustrated because I was involved in drafting the constitution. I know exactly how it is supposed to work, but the greed of MPs, they want to be constructing roads and health centers. They want to be contractors themselves. Who is going to oversight the government if the oversight themselves is the implementer? It does not happen anywhere in the world. Then Miguna, of course, had to chime in on that to expose what Raila is saying. If my screen can only work, it's actually misbehaving, but let me just read it again. It will. There you go. So Miguna comes back and responds to Raila Odinga saying, look at this shameless, treacherous, and greedy man. He controls half of the MPs and the so-called opposition, both of whom support tyrant William Ruto and his regime's barbaric brutality and plunder. Yes, the MPs are not supposed to be in charge of the CDF, which is used as a slush fund to bribe them. But conman Raila Odinga is among the thieves. And no, conman Raila Odinga did not write the constitution. Moreover, he supports and actively facilitates its subversion by Ruto. This shameless conman should shut up. Hashtag reject Raila Odinga. Hashtag Ruto na Raila must go. Hashtag Ruto must go now. And Miguna is right. Miguna is right because Raila Odinga did not help write the constitution. That's number one. That's true. Number two, Raila Odinga has been subverting the constitution. Remember the IBC amendment bill. Constitutionally, the president was supposed to start the process by choosing the selection panel, okay, who in turn select the commissioners, nominate, and they are to be approved by the National Assembly. But Raila refused to respect that part of the constitution and demanded that they get involved in choosing the selection panel. Him, along with Wandai, said it publicly, and they forced the president's hand by going to the Mandamano, and they say the NADCO has to be part of it, has to be implemented. And part of the NADCO was to change the composition of the IBC. That's why they came up with this IBC amendment bill, which there was no public participation as it is required in the constitution. So yes, Raila has been part and parcel in the process of subverting this constitution that he claims to be part of the author of. Raila is part of the problem, him along with Ruto. So for him to hold a press conference and complain about the MPs who he controls is ludicrous, to say the least. Hypocrisy. Good morning, Clean Black Sneakers. Nice seeing you. Let me put Wangira in. Oh, Wangira is in. All right, let me put Wangira in. Wangira. Come in, ladies and gentlemen. Glad to see Wangira here. Wangira, there's the link. Anytime, any. So yes, like I said, Raila cannot purport to come in here and says that devolution is not working because he's a member of parliament. Okay, he's the very person who actually summoned his members of parliament to help remove Rigathi Gachagua in that unconstitutional process. So why is he complaining about the subversion of the constitution while he plays a huge part in it? Karibu sana Bwana Wangira. How are you doing today?
Oh, brother, I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm glad to see you.
I've missed your 2 sessions. We live in Kenya where, getting power times is not very, very easy. So, I've been off grid for the last 2 days. And it's the reason why I've not been in a position to be part of this good program.
Pole sana. I understand. You didn't miss much. It's more value. When you get in, that's when we it gets interesting. By the way, Mr. Jared, you're a controversial figure. You're a very controversial figure without even being controversial. It seems that you coming here rattled some feathers in some quarters.
Is it? Is it?
Yes. Apparently, the people on the other side started accusing me of poaching people from that channel. So I was like, hey, Wangira amekuja siku moja na the world is coming to an end.
No, I want to be like a bird, a bird, where, a bird will always fly in the manner that it likes. So, I want to be like a bird in expressing my opinion. But if you want to gag me, then that's where we disconnect.
Yes, that's very understandable. I support that. People should be free to express themselves anyhow, even if you disagree, but you have a right to be heard, okay? So, karibu sana. So, what do you make of this whole brouhaha? In my opinion, like just quick on my opinion, I just feel like there's something brewing up. On the 21st, we are going to the streets. The clergymen came out yesterday and, gave very pointed their fingers on the administration. The administration seemed to have panicked. They got 5 responses at night. They came out with 5 responses at night. And they probably made a call to Raila to tell him to come out and to tell us about the devolution problems. What do you make of all this stuff that's happening?
You remember at the other time I was supposed to have taken part in the program whose theme was, Article 1, the power of the people, the sovereign power of the people. And, unfortunately, because, you delayed a bit, I did not partake to that particular session. So, what the Catholics were telling President William Samoei Ruto is simple. They were only reminding him of Article 1. And Article 1 of the Constitution says that all sovereign power belongs to the people of Kenya and shall be exercised only in accordance with the Constitution. That's the only thing that the bishops were telling William Samoei Ruto. And then,
And don't forget the part that it says either directly or indirectly. But go ahead. Thank you.
I get it. Then, even before we talk about the sovereign power, we need to find out who is this sovereign. Who is the sovereign? The sovereign is you and me. The citizen of Kenya is sovereign. Me as Wangira, I'm sovereign. You are sovereign. So, I being sovereign, then I become the owner of the power. But unfortunately, according to William Samoei Ruto's definition, all the powers, all sovereign powers belong to William Samoei Ruto and shall be exercised in accordance to William Samoei Ruto. That's how I interpret, the manner in which, he is governing this country. To him, the sovereign powers belong to him and shall be exercised in accordance to his own will and will. And that's what we are telling William Ruto here, that we are not ready to take that route. We were in that route in 1982 up to 1991 when we repealed Section 2A, and we'll never take that particular route again as the people of Kenya. The bishops were telling William Samoei Ruto one simple thing that many people are not ready to tell him. You remember the analogy of the king being naked. If you remember the analogy of the king being naked, William Samoei Ruto, the president of the Republic of Kenya, is naked, and he needs somebody to tell him that he's naked. And the bishops yesterday told him that he's naked. It was just as simple as that. And they were telling him that he's full of lies. And it's true that William Samoei Ruto is a liar. How even got to the presidency of the Republic of Kenya, we know many of us that it was true, many lies and many empty promises, and that's the truth. And that's what the bishops were telling him. They were telling him of trying to silence alternative voices. That's what they were telling him, trying to silence alternative voices, like my voice here. You remember I was silenced on the other end. I don't know whether you are going to silence me. So William Samoei Ruto, does not want to listen to any alternative voice, And that's why, there are these funny things called abductions. Why do you abduct a person in a free world? In a free world, you accommodate any opinion. You don't abduct people, when they are voicing themselves. That's what the bishops were telling him. But unfortunately, the guilty are always afraid, and the guilty are not ready to listen to the truth. And that was the naked truth. Today I've just heard this lady called Gladys Foley saying that the gates to State House are open to the bishop. They should not cancel the president in open. They make an appointment, and they will be allowed in, even more fast than I can be allowed in. High means shaloi. It's not about the bishops. It's not about bishops making an appointment to the president. It's about the concerns the people of Kenya are undergoing. For example, healthcare. Healthcare, as we speak here today, is dead. Do you have healthcare? It's dead. It's dead. It's dead. We are getting to where we were in the 1980s, where if you are as controversial as I am, then you are not. Anytime you go to bed, you are not very sure whether you'll wake up on the same side of the bed or whether you'll have been picked up. That's where we are headed to, and we are telling William Samoei Ruto that you are not. You are not ready to listen to the truth. You are not ready to listen to the truth. And that's why we are telling William Samoei Ruto that you are not ready to listen to the truth. And that's why we are telling William Samoei Ruto that you are not ready to listen to the truth. And that's why we are telling William Samoei Ruto that you are not ready to listen to the truth. And that's why we are telling William Samoei Ruto that you are not ready to listen to the truth. And that's why we are telling William Samoei Ruto that you are not ready to listen to the truth. And that's why we are telling William Samoei Ruto that you are not ready to listen to the truth. And that's why we are telling William Samoei Ruto that you are not ready to listen to the truth. And that's why we are telling William Samoei Ruto that you are not ready to listen to the truth. And that's why we are telling William Samoei Ruto that you are not ready to listen to the truth. And that's why we are telling William Samoei Ruto that you are not ready to listen to the truth. And that's why we are telling William Samoei Ruto that you are not ready
I lost you. Are you still there? Mr. Wangira, are you still there? Okay, Mr. Wangira is. I don't know if he's muted. Wangira, Mr. Wangira can't hear you. Are you muted? No, you're not. I don't know what happened with Mr. Wangira's.
I can hear you on my end. You can't hear me.
Okay. Yes, now I can hear you. You were quiet for a while. I don't know what happened there.
You never know. You know, there are many people who are anti me, so perhaps they are following me all over. So
Yes.
Since 1963, as a nation, we have been in what we call a rat race. I hope that you have once met a rat in your house. It will run round, but it does not go far. So as the people of Kenya, we have been on a rat race for 61 years. And the reason why we have been on a rat race for 61 years is because of the divide and rule. Where, you want to divide Kenyans so that you can rule them. Mzojemo Kenyatta applied the same strategy. And I'm seeing the same strategy being applied by William Samoei Ruto. For example, today I've been having discussion with a group of people from a particular community from the Republic of Kenya. Let me call it Community A. So these members of Community A were telling me that in come 2027, they are going to punish, the members of Community B at the ballot, because they believe that, the members of Community B punished them in 2022 at the ballot. Then I was telling them, my brother, stop engaging in this rat race business, become serious. Our problems in this country are not Community A or Community B. Our problems in this country are about, our governance structure. Our governance structure has been built on what I'll call, a weak sand foundation. And because we are on a weak sand foundation, however much you are trying to build this structure, it will not become a firm structure. And that's where our problems are as the people of the Republic of Kenya. So, don't blame people from Community A or people from Community B. Those are not your problems. Our problems are structural. And they're structural because of the foundation that we have set. So we need to rethink about the foundation of this country and the people of Kenya. And that's why every time I speak about this topic, I remind people about Article 10 on the national values and principles of governance. If we get Article 10 on national values and principles of governance correctly, my brother, then more than half of the Kenyan problem will have been solved. More than half of the Kenyan problems will have been solved.
Yes. And that's what I usually say, that we have a wonderful constitution, but it seems like the people that we delegate this power to, once they take those positions as our representatives and the people who are supposed to be doing the oversight, they don't respect the constitution. They don't even respect the rule of law. So if you like these corruption cases, it's the rot is in deep in all aspects, arms of government. That's why I usually say that the only viable solution is we have to have a popular revolution, which might happen. Now, what do you think about this? I found it very funny, not funny, but rather interesting that our AUC candidate came out. He's supposed to be, worried about his candidacy, but he came out and he started talking about the MPs and the problem with devolution, which is a legit concern. But he rarely makes, public statements or statements since he started this AUC journey. But today he came out and mentioned this devolution issue. And I was thinking, if you look at the problem stems, or rather flows from the executive, like you just rightfully said. Ruto is basically, he's the Constitution himself. He is turned to the Constitution. His word is law. And I was expecting Raila Odinga, given his influence, to actually come out and say, hey, listen, what these Catholics, this clergyman came out and said was legit. Let's try to fix things. But no, he just went and started talking about the evolution and the problem, the gridlock between the National Assembly and the Senate, which to me, it's like a diversionary tactic. Not only that, he has great influence in the ODM party, who also, he tells them how to vote. You know how Kenya works. What do you think? Isn't this a disappointment for somebody who has been hailed as one of the, liberators of Kenya, at least, as far as the multi-party politics? What do you think about that?
I've just seen his statement, a few minutes ago. I've seen his statement, and when he was asked to comment on the statement by the bishops, he told the journalist that he's going to make a comprehensive statement about it later on. So so perhaps let us give him benefits of the doubt and see whether truly he's going to make a comprehensive statement. But again, on the point of the parliamentarians, there's a standoff on the division of revenue. What is supposed to go to the counties and what is supposed to remain in the national government. Already, there's this bickering between the National Assembly and the Senate. They cannot agree on what to disburse because the Senate is saying that it must be 400 billion. And the National Assembly is saying that it must be cut down to 380. And so, there has been that standoff between, the National Assembly and the Senate. But, there's one point that I've agreed with Raila Odinga on today. Because at times, we can crucify the messenger, but, it's also important that you take the message. There's one thing that I've agreed with Raila Odinga. For those people who have followed me since the promulgation of the 2010 Constitution, I've done many posts even on my Facebook page, and I'm among those people who believe that CDF was illegal because immediately we promulgated the 2010 Constitution. Then we divided the functions between the National Assembly, between the county government and the national government. So yes. Why are members of National Assembly undertaking national functions in the name of the National Government Constituency Development Fund? Why are they undertaking that particular function? And
Mr. Wangira, if I may, I thought there's a court declared CDF illegal. There's a court that declared that, if I'm not mistaken. That was already.
I'm coming to that point.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm coming to that point. So in 2014, what was then CDF was declared illegal. That time it was called CDF. It was declared illegal. What the parliamentarians did, they went back to the National Assembly and created another statute called the National Government Constituency Development Fund, NGCDF. And the NGCDF was, I think, a month ago also declared illegal by the courts. The court declared it illegal. And because, there were already projects that were being undertaken by this particular fund, it was given a lifeline up to 2026. That was the lifeline that it was given. Come 2026, then we should be done. We should be done with a national government constituency development fund. But you know what they are now saying? They are saying that they want to amend the Kenyan 2010 constitution so that they can incorporate CDF, as part of our constitution. That's what they are saying. That's what members of parliament are saying. That was so. My question has been, why are members of parliament so interested in controlling funds? Because women reps have what we call the affirmative fund, which they are controlling. Members of National Assembly have what they are now calling a National Government Constituency Development Fund. Then the senators, they are also proposing for what I think they are calling, the something oversight fund that they are supposed to be controlling. Why do we have members of parliament who want to control funds? Why do we have? It does not happen anywhere in the world. Show me any single jurisdiction in the world where members of parliament, control funds directly. It does not happen because the work of, we have a jurisprudence here worldwide that, the work of a member of parliament is to oversight, then is to legislate, then is to represent. They only have three roles worldwide. You represent me, you oversight, then you legislate. But in Kenya, they want a fourth role that is calling, controlling funds. Why are we giving them a leeway where they want to control funds? Unfortunately, I always tell God that I'm lucky. God, thank you. I'm not among those people who go queuing for 5,000 checks in forms of bursaries, and they keep on congratulating members of parliament. And mheshimiwa amenipatia bursary nikalipia mtoto wangu school fees. I thank God that I'm not within that category. Why should a member of parliament be giving out bursaries? Why should a member of parliament be giving out bursaries? These are questions that we are asking. Why? Why? Kenyans have proposed, they have said, let us consolidate all these amounts in the name of bursaries, whether it's at the national level, whether it's at the constituency level, whether it's at the county level. Let us consolidate this all amount that can come up to around 100 billion Kenya shillings. So if we can create a kitty of around 100 billion Kenya shillings, then every child in primary and secondary school can go free without queuing for a bursary. But because, in Kenya...
No, I just wanted to say this. I wanted to say this. I thought this is all taken care of in the Constitution, because from my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, I thought every constituency, every county, they make their budget, and they pass it, and they should, in their budget making process, they should incorporate, all these needs as far as the schools and whatever, if they want to make it free, that is. So maybe if the MCAs and governors can sit down and, just give an approximate or estimation of how much they might need in their county to take care of the school fees or the books, textbooks, or whatever the case is needed for the children's education. And then, whoever, is it the budget, whoever looks at it, the National Assembly or whatever in the national level, they kind of look at it, debate it, and that is how they base when they are allocating money for different counties. That's how they allocate money for that. Isn't that the way it's supposed to be? That's how we share our, the revenue is shared, like the money. We sit down, the National Assembly sits down, and while we are going to making the budget making process, we see that, okay, this county needs 300 billion or whatever the case is. But in that 300 billion, if it is approved, already it has factored in the education, money for education. So when you receive that 300 million as a county, do not come out here and say that you need extra funds unless it's for emergency. Isn't that supposed to work, or am I getting it wrong?
The problem we have in Kenya is what I call tokenism. Leaders want to be seen to be giving out something. And because they want to be seen to be giving out something, so they want to be in control of particular funds. An MCA will always want to be in control of a particular fund. The governor, the same thing. The women rep, the same thing. The member of national... There is some noise there.
Oh, sorry. Okay, let me mute. Okay, go ahead.
So the problem we have in this country is tokenism. Because if we can do away with tokenism, and we agree that we want to set out one fund that we can call, for example, the National Education Fund, the National Education Fund, and we decide that anything education should go into this particular fund, I can assure you, my brother, that, from nursery to university, we can be in a position to take our kids to school. But because we are in a country where we believe in tokenism, where a member of parliament wants to be seen to be giving out something, where a president wants to be seen to be giving out something, then, I think we have a long way to go to attain, some of those objectives. What you are talking about truly is one of the objectives of the Constitution, because, the Constitution talks about, um, free education, free basic education for every child. But, we have not attained, that particular right, as provided by the Constitution. And the reason why we have not attained that particular right is because of tokenism. And, because of tokenism, there's also a lot of wastage. Imagine how much are we paying members of the National Constituency Development Fund in form of, allowances. At the constituency level, there are people who are managing a particular bursary there. How much are we paying them in allowances? The MCA has his team. How much are we paying him for allowances? At the Ministry of Education, there's a team also managing some bursary there. How much are we paying them in form of the allowances? Isn't that wastage, So, if we can streamline this particular kitty into one thing called the National Education Fund, like what many Kenyans are saying today, we will be in a position to take every child to school, irrespective of his or her status.
Right. Okay. I see she ni Mungai ama nani? Unajua kusoma hata Mungai. She Mungai, karibu sana. Hebu tueleze maoni yako namna gani? Ulisikia Raila hapo aliongea.
A minute. Just a minute.
Go ahead.
I'm getting out for a minute to receive a phone call, then I'll come back. I hope I'll get the link. I'll be coming back in like 5 minutes.
Okay, I'll put it in the chat, and always you can ask for it. I'll put it in the chat so you'll see it there. Okay, thank you.
Okay. All
right. Shimungai, namna gani? Hebu nieleze. Let me unmute you.
I'm saying that big grammar, I will not do away with it. But let me start with the so-called callers that Mr. Kioni always saying, brutalize all the time, and all the time brutalize. So let me start with this, even though sijasoma constitution, but I have a long way to go to understand my law, my rights, our rights, and so forth. So we as Kenyans, what do we need? We need leaders. We don't need politics, because they yap a lot, they nag a lot, but we need leaders as a country. And if you will not get away with this so-called tribalism, I'm betting you 100% sure we are going to make the same mistake in 2020 to 2027. And we should not vote again because of revenge. Because what I'm saying is that we want to make a revenge of Ruto. So we are going to punish him. But we are not going to see the leaders, the upcoming leaders. Lazima tuachane na politicians. We need leaders who can lead us, because about politicians, they always come with sweet talk. They do. You see, the other day they are saying sisi tunakula peremende, wananchi huku wakifanya nini? Wakimeza mate. But we forget that even if hata kama ni mtu wetu hatutuletei unga, hakuna siku atatuletea unga, we will always suffer. My name is always betrays me, because mi ni mtu wa mlima, but I thank God hata kama sijaolewa huko mlimani, lakini we need to embrace ourselves. We need to take away this tribalism, mtu wetu sijui nini, and we have to swipe the cabinet, we have to swipe all these, I'll call them old cargos. Wacha hao wazee waende nyumbani. We need this young generation who are digitalized. They are doing trading, they are doing this online things, so they know how, kama vitu wanafanya chini ya maji, and we are aware of it, thinking that wachana na hawa watoto hawajui what is going on, but we are very aware every step that government is making, we are aware. Let me come about this naitwa aje hii shisha. Yes. I was surprised when they were Mushoba. Kama kuna mtu ameona interview ya Mushoba kwa his interview, alisema aliambia wamama wa bunge, Ruto ameondoa hili la mama. Can we go to the parliament and stand for our women. Wacha tuseme, wacha Linda mama irudi. You know what the women left told her? Ati sisi tunaogopa sijui nini, mzee wa nini bosi atasema aje. And she was like, how are you serving our people? You know, wanaogopa the head of the house who know ati yeye ndo sheria iko kwake. We don't have power, we don't have power anymore as we common wananchi. We have the power but we are not accumulating it. But Ruto thinks the power is his, he can do anything he wants. And about Shisha, me I'm asking myself, why were they on a hurry to migrate? Unabomoaje nyumba yenye unakaa na yenye unahamia hata hujajenga? Unafaa ujenge yenye unahamia mwanzo ndo uje ubomoe hii yenye unafanya nini, yenye unaishi. Sasa tulishabomoa yenye tunaishi na hatuna makao, tunaenda wapi? Yeah. Our old parents are dying, wanalia hospitalini, wanakufa, and then the so-called president anatuambia just go home and wait, be patient. Indirectly anatuambia wenda nyumbani ukakufe. That is what he's saying in dialect. How can you wait? Unangoja aje? Surely. And ni nini hii wanafanya haraka? What are these? Ni nini hii wanahide? Hata ulisikia wapi the system ati inanunuliwa 109? Is it 109 billion? Ni system gani? And then to make the matter worse, wenye sijui wanafanya hizo data, they are protecting that data, they are foreigners. Si hata wananchi wetu wana protect those data of Shisha. Yeah. They are foreigners.
Yes.
Ushanielewa? Ni nini hii inafichwa? Ni nini hii inafichwa? Ni system gani hii sijui ati inalipwa 109 billion, yet the NHIF ilikuwa inataka only 700 M to improve their system. But wakaona hapana, hii 109 billion is the way to go. And they are doing yani wanaiharakisha sijui ni nini. And then umeona skando zimeanza kufanyika, sijui the acting CS, sijui ni CS ama ni CEO ashafukuzwa kazi. Ushaona So this parliament, the wananchi, the bunge people they need to send there, they are not talking about they are not concerned about us common wananchi. When it is come to their problem, the senator, the parliament, yani kila kitu inaharakishwa. Ingekuwa hivyo vile walifanya ile mambo ya juzi ndio wanaharakisha hii maisha yetu, sijui wanapiga simu dakika hiyo usiku, pesa za barabara zinapelekwa hiyo usiku, barabara inaenda inatengenezwa, tungekuwa a very far away. Look at Mali, they are the first African country to kulipa deni yao. Washalipa deni yao, and their economy is lower than us. Our economy is higher. I will agree with my brother, there that the high taxation is not the problem. We are ready to pay the tax, but are they accountable? They are not. We are paying tax, but 80% of them they are going within an year. Huwezi ona mali zinaenda. Na mtu akipatikana na corruption, tunapelekwa hivi anakuwa sanitized, then anarudi kwa the same government, because they know even if you steal there is no inaitwa repercussion or replication, I don't know, hakuna nini. That's the word, hakuna. And they are being sanitized. Sijui amefuta masiya sijui nini, then in 2-3 days ashawalegesha pale the same faces. We need new faces for the next generation. We need new faces in that parliament. We need new faces in that senator. I also look the Botswana president. Amechukua Gen Z's. Gen Z ameappoint like CS, like whatever. They are Gen Z that who are doing there because they know, wanajua the Gen Z wanajua shida zetu. Alafu kama hata huyu Ruto angekuwa ni mtu mzuri, anajua, yani I think the advisors are misleading him. Angekuwa anasikiza wananchi, anaambia haya, mnasema kuna shida, haya kujeni, let's go to the hotel, let's go to the stadium, kujeni ambie shida ni nini, ni ABCD. Hatutaki hii new modern fund, hatutaki whatever the levy. What is the way to go? Tunamwambia inafaa hivi. The solution is 1 2 3 4. Okay, let's go and then do it. But hataki kutusikiza sisi wananchi, hataki kutusikiza sisi wenye tunaumia. like today, today the daybreak on citizenship, there is a young man who was saying that, oh, tunawekelea government, everything is government. I was like, kwani anaishi wapi? Kwani haishi hii Kenya vile watu wanaumia? Watu wanaambia kila siku watoto wetu wana nini, watoto wetu wanakidnapiwa. It may be today is me, today is my brother, today tomorrow is another sister or a brother, but I think mi hata sijui nitasema aje, yani we have a long way to go and we have to decide. It is now we decide, unless you are going to make the same mistake the next coming election. If you don't select leaders, we have, yani lazima tusafishe hiyo bunge, lazima tusafishe hiyo Senate, wote waende nyumbani, tukuje na new faces. Ndo hata ukiulizwa, ukiingia kwa bunge, nilikuwa na net worth ya 50,000, okay, in 2 years 500 million umetoa wapi? Ushaona? And if you are the member of the parliament, you are not supposed to do business with the government.
Oh, wanataka kuweka law. Uliona ile law walikuwa wanataka kutengeneza, ambao hata nilishangaa nani Sifuna na Olekina walikuwa wanatengeneza, ilikuwa inaitwa aje? Whatever interest, what was it called? Something interest, which will let members of parliament wafanye biashara na serikali.
Na government.
Na government, which is
that will be a big mess, because the CS, for example, the CS ni wa finance, huyo ndo anapewa construction, huyo ndo anapewa barabara, huyo ndo anapewa barabara, alafu tunakuja hapa kuliwa na morala, look at your money pali zimeenda na hakuna repercussions wanachukuliwa, then we are going to live in poverty. Tulidanganywa masomo ni ya bure, like kila siku mwanangu anashinda akiniambia, ma tumeitishwa, ma sijui nini, ma hata unashinda, what the fuck.
Conflict of interest bill. Yes, that's what I was looking at. Now wacha niulize nani hivi, Wangira, I think you've heard about what's happening the 21st of November. Kuna maandamano on the 21st. Now Ruto is also planning on addressing the nation that same day. I think he will be making that address at the legislative body or somewhere. I don't know where, but can we possibly see something similar to June 25th? Ama hii tu itakuwa ile maandamano, watu wataenda tiaga situpu, alafu tunaendelea as business as usual? What do you think, nani Wangira?
Just like I've told you, I was off internet because we didn't have power here. But what I've heard is that William Samoei Ruto is going to make what we call his State of the Nation address. Next Thursday, I believe that's the 21st of November. That will be next Thursday. And I've also seen some flyers, going around on X, saying that there will be maandamano on that particular day. And just like I was telling you the other time that, as the people of Kenya, we cannot give up. This is not the time to give up. That anything, however small, including, maandamano, however small it will be, on that 21st of November, it should be encouraged. It should be encouraged because that's the way to go. That's the way to go. Because, with William Samoei Ruto, if you keep quiet, then, things are likely to get worse. For example, I was listening to my sister Mongai there, saying that, that we have demolished our house called the National Hospital Insurance House, the National Hospital Insurance Fund, even before we have built another house. I've just listened to that analogy, and then I've remembered that, the National Hospital Insurance Fund was incorporated in 1966. 1966 to today, that is 58 years ago. How do you demolish a structure that was built 58 years ago without coming up with another structure that can be workable? That's the quagmire in which we are as the people of Kenya, because we have demolished a structure that was built in 1966 called the National Hospital Insurance Fund. And just to agree with my sister Mongai there, now we don't seem to have any structure, to dwell on. when you have medical issues. You don't have a medical structure to dwell on. And here we are being told by William Samoei Ruto that we are building a better structure called the Social Health Authority. You are telling us that you are building a better structure called the Social Health Authority. Yes, you are telling us that you are building a better structure called the Social Health Authority. And here you have convinced us to demolish the structure that we are living in called the National Hospital Insurance Fund. Na sasa umetuacha kwa maneno that you are now building a better structure called National Hospital Insurance Fund. Where do we dwell before we see you build this new structure called the National Hospital Insurance and the Social Health Authority? Where do we dwell as the people of Kenya? That's the question that we need to keep on asking. And we cannot ask those questions, in the comfort of our sitting room. We cannot ask those questions from the comfort of our living room. The only way we can ask those questions is if we go out there and demonstrate. And if there will be demonstrations on that day, I'll try to look at, after I finish here, I'll go to X to find out, the details about it, so that next time when we meet on this platform, perhaps I'll be in a better place to position myself. But at all, if there will be demonstrations on the 21st of November, then, that's something that Kenyans, many Kenyans should support. Because where we are.
Go ahead.
Why is he forcing us in this so-called shit? Kwa nini anatuforce? Yani anatulazimisha. Watu wanamwambia hatutaki, hii hatutaki, lakini anatuforce tu. You must. Kwa nini?
Kuna mtu hata anaielewa hiyo shift ni nini? What is this shift? Mimi sielewi, mimi sijui. Hata wanabunge naona.
Let me surprise you, Kenya Libiel. Imagine there are member of parliament, a whole member, hata fadhali mimi sijasoma. The whole member of the parliament anasema ati sielewi, yet he or she voted yes. Ati mimi hata sijui ni nini. Wacha tuende, nilisikia wanaita Kamukoji. Wacha tuende Kamukoji tukadiscuss with the educators, the means the interior of health sijui, to educate us, and as we member of the parliament tuende we educate the Wanjikos. Since when the member of the parliament became an educator? Why was he voting yes na hajui ni nini?
Right. even Ruto himself was saying
that we sent there to do.
Yeah. You see, that is why hawataki kuweka IBC, kuconstitute IBC, kwa sababu IBC ikiwekwa, wananchi can recall these MPs. The only funny thing also, and I don't know if I know, Mwangira ni mtu amependa law. I think if you see the recall clause on laws on how to impeach MPs, I think it's on. In fact, it's in IBC bill. I think IBC Act, section 45. I think, which says awezi recall MP. I think it's 24 months after he has been elected, and 24 months before the next election, something like that, which gives you a window of only, I think it's a year to file for the recall. So wameweka sheria kali. Endelea nani Mungai.
I think we Kenyans, we have to go to the street for that thing to be constructed. We have to have IEBC. Na sio tafadhali, it is a must, because Zakayo anajua akiconstruct, anajua some of his members of the parliament are going to be sent home.
Yeah.
Starting with the MP of Madera. And the members are starting to collect signatures. I heard that Sifuna, the motion of impeachment imeanza kwa pale kwa bunge. We have to have that IBC, and also we have one county, I don't know which county, they don't have a member of parliament because hatuna IBC. Hawana, and Zakai is afraid of this thing, but we have to get it. for that, because me, I don't see Dakayo is planning to have an election 2007. Yani that is not in his mind at all. Hiyo kitu
Yeah.
akili haiko kwa akili yake. His thing is how to force us on force us on shisha. I don't know, whatever it is. Sorry, he said he's focused on how to rob the country to save the country assets. And his mind is I don't know how to put it, but we as people, hata mi nimejua sahii, ilikuwa sijui kama kuna maandamano hiyo Thursday, I have no idea, but we have to go to the street, and we should not allow the barber to distract us again. If you're going to go to the street, you have to go double than we went on June. Kama tunaenda kwa streets, tunaenda to 1 week, 2 weeks, Zakayo ataenda nyumbani. We have to not let anyone to distract us again. It's either about to us to about with our bindings, or else he goes home. Hivyo tu.
Yeah.
Please,
Yeah.
next Wangila, continue.
Yeah, I think it's the law I was referring is the Election Act. Election Act, I think hapo section 45 hapo inasema, let me see if I can pull it up. Yani wameweka ninio, wameweka law ngumu ndio you can't remove these people because they know that you know, people might come for them, so they don't want to ninio. It's under right to recall.
I
Under the right to
remember.
recall. Yeah.
I remember the recall, you know, the recall provisions for members of parliament had been made very difficult because, you know, they were saying that you must collect signatures from a half of registered voters in a constituency. Then you need to get the consent of the court. Then there was a deposit that you, in a bond form that you needed to deposit with the court. But, you know, the court declared those provisions, you know, unconstitutional. And, you know, it became easier now to recall, you know, a member of parliament. So today, as we stand, it's easier to recall a member of parliament. The only thing that is standing between the public, and the recalling is the IBC. Because where we stand today, you know, the IBC is not constituted. And, you know, without an IBC, then it is impossible to recall members of parliament.
Yes. And
then,
then
there's another new development that it has come up. You know, there's an argument in the High Court. I don't know whether you have heard about it, or on the recall of the president. You know, there's somebody who has made an application in court. You know, is arguing that, you know, the people of Kenya should be allowed to recall a president through an impeachment process, because, you know, not through an impeachment, sorry, through a referendum process. So he's arguing that the people of Kenya, when we feel that the president is not, you know, exercising his authority in accordance to the constitution, then through a referendum process, we should be allowed to recall the president. And, you know, that's very, very interesting argument. You know, I don't know what the court will arrive at, but, you know, at all, if the court can arrive at a positive.
But the problem is, sorry, but the problem is, in order to conduct a referendum, you still need the IBC, because the IBC is the governmental body that is mandated to oversee the electoral process, because we are all going to vote on that referendum if it's passed. But go ahead, sorry.
You know, this will be for posterity. For posterity, if the court can rule that, you know, it is possible for the members of the public to recall their president through a referendum, then that will be a better way to deal with a rogue president. Because, you know, anytime you have a rogue president, then, you know, you can conduct a referendum and, you know, you can recall him. Unlike today, where the only process of recalling a president is through an impeachment process. And you know that the president has, you know, kidnapped, the president has hijacked everything. He has hijacked the parliament, he has hijacked the executive. I'm not very, very sure whether he has also hijacked, you know, judiciary. So, you know, where we are, you know, everything, you know, is operating at the pleasure of the president. So today, as we stand, where we stand as the people of Kenya, it is impossible to impeach the president, especially William Samoei Ruto. It's impossible because, you know, with him, you know, you are laughing. You know, I'm just being realistic. I'm just being
Yeah,
realistic.
you are realistic. You are realistic.
I'm just being realistic because the guy, the,
Ni hapo umesema it is impossible to impeach Zakayo, but yeah, it is impossible because he has hijacked kila mtu ame hijack, and that's why he don't want to construct the IEBC. You know what he's doing? You know the ground is hostile, anajua tu akiconstruct tu anaenda tu nyumbani, alafu nini, help me to understand, there is this motion that is going on court about sijui they are going to decide if Zakayo will go to ICC because of this about abduction, extrajudiciary killings. Have you heard about that? I heard it, I think last week, and it was adjourned until I think it is end of this month to the court to decide if the presidential is going to be called out on ICC. Kindly hebu nielezee hiyo. I think kama ni mimi nilisikia ama sikuisikia vizuri, maybe you have a clue of it.
No, sijasikia anything about ICC. I wanted to comment on the referendum and IBC. Even if this IBC is reconstituted, remember, unajua walisign ile, we are forgetting, IBC, the law ya constitute IBC ilichangiwa. Remember the IBC amendment bill, which is now law, which requires part of the provision in the process of picking up the selection panel. The members of the coalition will have a huge part in this process, okay? And I think they made it from, was it 7 or whatever, to they added another commissioners, the number of commissioners are added. And not only that, this is where the kicker is. In this provision that says that they shall have mobile voting stations. I will repeat, mobile voting stations. So, even if we have a referendum or we have tumefika 2027 na tunaenda kupiga kura, we can have a lorry or a trailer ambayo itakuja inasema hapa hii ni voting station, tupigeni kura hapa kwa hii lorry imekuja hapa na with ballot boxes, hapa ndio mnapiga kura. So in the event tuseme Ruto anashindwa, kwa sababu atakuwa anapiga hesabu, anauliza watu wake, hey, huko hii hapo namna gani? Oh, tunashindwa. Are we behind with how many votes? 10,000. Okay. Ataleta lori ya kutoka huko Sigoi imejaa na kura already. Anasema, hey, we found this was another polling station here. This is a mobile ninio. Ebu tupigeni vote hapo. And before you know it, they are now leading with, you see, it's laws that are made and designed to provide a loophole for them to rig the next election. That's why I won't even trust Zakayo in this new amendment amendment law that him along with Azimio. Because remember, again, I usually say it here, it was him and the ODM folks, Azimio, where they were saying, Zakayo, huyu nani alikuwa nasema, who's this, Opio and I was saying, the amendment bill that they passed, which is now law, was the number one issue on that NADCO report that was implemented. And the next step is to change the constitution now. That's why you see wakina Atuoli are talking about changing the constitution. So they've been implementing this thing pole pole. Ndio maana nasema, vile Wangira amesema vizuri, huyu jamaa hawezi kuimpeach, hata mkienda kupiga kura atawashinda kwa sababu alishaona mbele. I don't know what you think about that. Whoever can take it, Wangira or Wangira, I think you're saying
I don't want to lose hope in the manner that you are losing hope, because let me tell you, where Zakayo lifeline is between today and 2027. At the ballot, I've done my analysis, and at the ballot, the only opportunity Zakayo has to get back to power is to Kibaki us. And when I say to Kibaki us, you know what Kibaki did to us in 2007.
Oh, yeah.
What he did.
Yes.
Yeah, what he did. The only way he has to get back to power is by Kibaking us. But if it's true what I call a free and fair election, Zakayo cannot be re-elected in this country. And that's why he's even hanging on the court of this guy called, Raila Odinga. I've just told you a case where today I was having a discussion, and there were members from Community A who are telling me that, come 2027, we are going to punish members from Community B because they punished us in 2022. Now you see that divide and rule? And that's what Zakai is now applying. Now he has gone to members of Community A and he has told them that, we can form a big coalition here. And if we form a big coalition here, we shall all be part and parcel to government. And, he's doing that because, in Community B, where he was supported by the biggest margin in 2022, nobody wants to hear him anymore. But, there is, and, there's a catch here. The members of this community that I don't want to name by name here, but I'll call Community A. We know that,
Community
when...
ni sisi.
Apana,
Ni wao community.
Hatujui ni nani, ni Community A.
Hata t-shirt za yellow hazipatikani hiyo kwa gram. Ukipatikana na t-shirt ya yellow unachapa unachalazwa. Continue please.
So there is Community A here and Community B here because I'm avoiding to be na avoid maneno ya national NCIC. Sitaki kuitwa na NCIC. That's why I'm talking about Community A and Community B.
Subaru haikuji Subaru.
So you'll understand from my debate. You'll understand who is Community A and who is Community B. So there are members of Community A who are telling me that they are going to punish members of Community B at the ballot come 2022 because the members of Community B, they punished them in 2022. That's their argument, But there's this tech, the catch. If you look at the voting pattern of members of Community A, unlike members of Community B, members of Community B, anytime they go to vote, they vote up to 87 or 90% compared to members of Community A who only vote up to, let us say, 67, 68, 70. So if William Ruto is relying on members of Community A whose turnout in 2022 was only 71%, then the 71% compared to members of Community B whose turnout was almost 89, 90%, then already has a problem. Already has a problem. Imagine members of the Community A. The person who was running was a member of their own community, but the turnout still could not go beyond 70%. And he was a member of their own community. So imagine if William Ruto becomes their flag bearer, are they likely to make a turnout of 90 or even 80%?
No.
That is the catch there that William Samoei Ruto does not seem to get.
Because even that community, I think I know that community that had 67% or 70%. I think it will be much lower in 2027 if you were to get there, because even them, they're reluctant on voting for Ruto. So either way, everyone knows that to come 2020, if we are to get there before he's removed, he's not going to win. I mean, he's not. Like I said, yeah, go ahead.
Alafu mjue first, even if it is live alone Community A, even in his own community hatakikani huko, hata kama atatakikana mpe 30%, 40% from his community. The only place that he's relying, they are complaining already. They are always complaining.
Bado watampigia.
Lakini tuseme si sana. Tuseme si sana watampigia. But the community that he's relying on ni community ya Baba. And I bet you Baba will betray him.
You think so?
Baba hawatamaliza na yeye 2027. They will never be together. Na Baba he will never accept to be a deputy president. Wewe unajua Baba wewe. Can you imagine ati Baba to run to be his deputy? Of course no. Baba can never took that role.
Wacha nikukumbushe basi. Wacha nikuambie. Baba hata wakishindwa, tuseme Ruto akishindwa, baba zinatarudi kwa ninio maandamano ama akikosa hii AU anarudi. Ataenda maandamano alafu
hapo ndio that is where I'm coming. That is where I'm coming. Ruto in his mind, he's thinking that they are going together with Baba 2007. Hafanyi hesabu ya what if Baba akirudi, of we are 200% Baba is coming back from EU. Hafanyi hiyo hesabu.
Naendi kushinda.
We are not thinking, we know he's coming back.
Si tuliona nini alifanya, alitoa manifesto, Baba anaenda kushinda.
Manifesto gani? When Africans are fools, kwake kukiugua, anaacha boma yake kuugua, anaenda kuzima boma ya wenyewe. Lazima azime boma yake mwanzo ndo aende kuzima boma ya wenyewe. He has to make that his country is stable, financially stable, hakuna hizi crisis whatever, before aende kwa wenyewe. African wanaona. And me, I will support my brother Muslim. Wacha Djibouti iende na kiti, wacha Baba arudi astrategize nani Zakayo. So Ruto in his mind hafanyi hesabu what if Baba akirudi, and Baba ana precard zake vizuri, anafanya hii divide and rule. Zakayo hafanyi hesabu. Baba anaambia Zakayo, haya wacha tutoe kina community A tuweke community B kwa viti. Baba is doing warm up. Once he come back, Ruto atashangaa, atauliza what was I thinking? He will regret to bring Baba to the bread. Mimi naita bread. I'm not calling it base. Bread board government.
I want to agree with my sister Mongai there. You remember in 1998, Baba joined Mzee Daniel Toroitich arap Moi in that famous analogy where we were being told that, tractor ilimeza njogo. If you remember, tractor ilimeza njogo, if you remember. You remember. So, he joined Daniel arap Moi, and for the first time, Daniel arap Moi went down. So, I cannot dismiss what my sister Mongai is saying. There's a very big likelihood that, Raila Odinga could be hoodwinking, William Samoei Ruto today, when he knows that, already we know that William Samoei Ruto is exposed, having lost Mount Kenya, today is exposed, and is relying on Western Kenya and Nyanza to become his stronghold.
Exactly.
Yeah. So Raila Odinga could be hoodwinking, William Samoei Ruto. Then come 2026 or 2027, he'll tell William Samoei Ruto, kila mtu abebe msalaba wake. Wewe uliongoza serikali vibaya, kila mtu beba msalaba wake.
Hapo ndipo. That is why I'm saying even now we Kenyans are waiting for Baba. Tunagoja Baba earlier 2025. He's coming back to finish what he has started.
But there's a point we are forgetting here. In that, I think it was 1997, if I'm not wrong, when Baba Ali joined Ruto. I mean, Ali joined Moi. His reason, I think, he thought he was going to be made the flag bearer of KANU, because I think his calculation was this: Moi atafanya ile kitu anafanyanga kwa will rig the election like he usually does, because Moi, I mean, I doubt Moi won all those elections previously, okay? So Raila was banking on, since Moi, was it 2002? He joined Moi, not 1997, 2002. Was it before 2002, before he joined Kibaki? He joined KANU, right? And he was thinking at Moi atamwambia Raila tosha. But Moi decided to endorse Uhuru. And that's what disappointed Raila Odinga, and he was like, okay, and pia the wave, majority of Kenya, kumbuka, the majority of Kenyans were rallying around Kibaki. So once Moi, who he hoped will endorse him to be the candidate of hiyo ninio yake na KANU, disappointed him by choosing nani Uhuru. Raila akaenda akasema Kibaki tosha, and he joined the I think Rainbow Coalition at the time, and that's how Moi went down. So I would say
this
that
point you are not saying. There's this point you are not saying, my brother. You know what? Just like in 2002, majority of Kenyans today are anti-William Samoei Ruto. That's the truth.
Yes.
Look at the Gen Zs. Look at Mount Kenya. Look at many corners of this country. Majority of Kenyans, are anti-William Ruto. Secondly, Raila Odinga would want to have his payback time. You remember William Samoei Ruto betrayed him in 2013. You remember the issue of the Mau Forest thing, where William Samoei Ruto went back to his people and told his people that, it was Raila Odinga who was evicting people from the Mau Forest, if you remember. And, that became the genesis of Raila Odinga's political problems. So 2027 could be a payback time for Raila Odinga. And, he will perhaps like to serve, William Samoei Ruto with a sweet, hot revenge. So, don't dismiss this fact that, Raila Odinga could just be hoodwinking William Samoei Ruto, waiting for 2027 so that he can give him a hot, sweet revenge.
Okay, that's a possibility.
Also remember, we as Kenyans, we don't want anybody or anyone who associate himself with Ruto. Are you getting me? Hakuna mtu anatakikana mwenye anajihusisha na Ruto. Secondly, Kalonzo ni kama he's on his way to exit Azimio. And already the Kalonzo people already wame exit from Baba or from Azimio. And if after now ujue the opposition already the Baba shall betray opposition. So even if he supports us, if they used to support him 100%, they are going to support him 50-50. 50 will go to the opposition because the Baba has betrayed the opposition. Look at Madakaroa already asha exit.
Yeah, nani pia alitoka. So Wamalwa pia alitoka. Wamalwa
alitoka, and they are having a private meeting with Gachagua and Jubilee and Kalonzo and whatever.
Yeah.
Ushaona?
But, yeah. Nataka niwakumbushe hii quote. Remember Raila's brother made this interesting quote before the 2022 election. He said this. We always win the elections, but we don't have the deep state. But this time, we have the deep state on our side, and we are going to win. Basically, he was saying, okay, which to me, my interpretation was this. If you have the deep state, regardless of how unpopular you might be, you will win the elections. Okay? You might not be the popular one, but the deep state itakuweka hapo utashinda. That's why I was making this point, and it doesn't mean that this is what happened. I think Raila might as well anaweza kumruka Ruto, but I'm just saying this. Since Ruto alishinda Raila, na Raila alikuwa anasaidiwa na serikali, so to speak, hiyo serikali ya Uhuru, sana angalia Ruto ni kama Ruto amejua kushinda amejua akona deep state sasa, akona the apparatus, state apparatus. So ikikuja 2027, Baba is comfortable that Ruto might win because he has the deep state, he has the state's instruments of power. So atafanya ile kitu, alafu atashinda. Just like Mwangira told that he will Kibaki us. Ile kitu Kibaki alisema 2007.
Yeah, that is why I'm saying in any way, hata Ruto akishinda, I will support my brother. Hata Ruto kama alitakuja, ujue aliiba kula. Aliiba kula. Gachagua has said, we know something, we know where, we know when, and we know the amount. Understand?
Alisema.
So even if nyi hamjui, wajua nyi si watu wa county A. Sisi ni watu wa mlima tunajua. Sasa
alisema na lugha yenu,
hata kama Zakayo alisema heka udojoi so hako kaudojoi na akiuga uria mekire vile walisema na ni pesa ngapi zilipeanwa. Ushaona? So if Ruto came to win, kama atakuja kuwin 2027, obviously we are going back to 2007 2008. Juu sahi tuko rada, hata hawa majenzi kama wataenda vile tumechoka na Zakayo, punda ashachoka, we are going to be there to protect our votes. Lazima kitaeleweka. Sahi we are not going to vote for, like I said earlier, we are not going to vote for sympathy because you are popular, because you are what. Sahi hata tunasema walete pesa tukule, lakini 2027 kwa ballot wanaenda nyumbani. By fire, by force. Let me go. I'm going to pray. I'm coming back. Continue.
Okay, I'll be finishing in a few minutes. I'll come with the baadaye usiku session ya baadaye ya nini usiku.
Okay, let me wait until we conclude.
Okay, just this last question for both of you. Now it's not a question but it's a statement. Kwa hiyo poster that you're talking about, Wangera, that's on the online, there are people who are saying si lazima Zakayo amalize hiyo first term yake. Wacha hata ile second term. Si lazima malize hii first term. They want him out. Hii maandamano, it will be an interesting one. That's why I started with today's topic, which say Meg got intel of possible unrest in Kenya. That's why she left early. Nasema hivi, could it be because Meg Whitman was supposed to leave in January or something like that, lakini alitoka kitambo. Could it be alipata fununu kwamba maybe ground imeiva and there's a possible people ama kudeta or whatever the case is kutoa Ruto, ndio maana akatoka ajitoe mapema, you know?
Yeah, I heard some of the conversation people were saying they are going to that US embassy kutoa huyo mwanamke.
Yes.
So I think aliona hapa kitaniramba.
Yep, ndio maana nilikuwa nafikiria hivyo. So could it be that? And you can see na vile mimi niliona hao Catholic Church wakikuja wakazungumza hivyo.
You know,
yes, they usually, yeah, go ahead Mwangira. Endelea.
You know, they say that revolutions are revolutions are the voice of the voiceless. That's what revolutions are. And you know, we have majority of Kenyans today who are voiceless, just like the Gen Zs who are voiceless. So, and you know, we saw, what the first round of Gen Z, what I call Gen Z revolution did, especially to the government of William Samoei Ruto. So, if things continue in the manner that they are, don't rule out another round of a Gen Z revolution, even before we reach 2027. And it could even be a much stronger revolution than the one that we experienced in June this year. So, anything is possible. Anything is very, very possible because we have many Kenyans who are voiceless and the only voice that they could have is the revolution. So don't rule it out. Anything can happen.
All right.
Yeah, especially if we are coming for the next revolution, ujue haitakuwa ya Gen Z peke yake. Sahi hata mama boga, millennials, mababa, they are behind us. And if we call for revolution, they are coming with us. So Ruto, let him not underestimate us. And if he's wise enough, and if he's a democratic president, angefanya tu vile wazungu wanasemanga, let me resign and go home in peace. But they are hungry for powers. I rest my case.
Haya, asanteni sana. I'll stop it here. I'll be back again midnight Kenyan time. Maybe it might be late for you guys. Najua Saturday watu wengine waendi kazini kesho, so maybe they might join or maybe not, but I'll be here at midnight. Hopefully
tomorrow unaweza kuja mapema. Tomorrow maybe
kesho,
kesho ni weekend.
yeah, I'll try to come in like the same time as today. So maybe if you guys, hopefully
that itakuwa sawa
hopefully
because that midnight sisi ni wa mama familia.
Okay, sawa, naelewa. Asanteni sana. Don't allow yourself to be
Sasa
interrupted. Okay, sawa, asanteni. Wangira, thank you so much for stopping by as usual. I value your your take, your na pia
Okay,
mama
see you at midnight. You said midnight Kenyan time. See you at midnight.
Yes. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And everyone else in the chat, na pia mama nani Shea Mungai, I usually see you here. Asante sana, leo umeingia kwa ninio kwa studio. Asante. Wache kujificha huko kwa chat. So yeah.
leo nimesema niongee na ako kazungu kangu kadogo.
Ni sawa, hata kama ni Kizungu, Kiingereza, hata Kikuyu, ile vile unaweza kusema. Tutatafuta interpreter, lakini asante.
Mbona message ifike. Karibu. Afwan, karibuni. Bye.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Chief niggas, I see you there. Hey, my sister, nice seeing you. Douglas Kibogong. Nakuona. Clean Black Sneakers, thank you for joining us. Everybody else that have been watching, even you silent watchers back there, please remember, subscribe and mushare hii video kwa hizo ma WhatsApp political group zenu, ndio watu wajue about hii channel, wa subscribe, wakuja hapo watoe maoni yao, na tuendelee hivyo. Thank you so much. Like this channel before you like the channel, share, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys at midnight Kenyan time. And then tomorrow I'll also come in. Every day I'll come here if I can. I'll be here. Ama namna gani? Sawa. Shukran, tuonane baadaye kila mtu. Thank you, peace and blessings, and I'll see you later. Bye.